Hey, beautiful soul. Before we jump into the episode, I want to know, did you know that I have a completely free virtual new moon circle called Co-Create every single month? This stemmed out of a constant request for a space or a church that taught so many different spiritual modalities, tools, systems, beliefs, and I didn't have any place to send them. So I created it. In Co-Create, this is the space that I want to bring to you to learn how to create a connection to yourself, your energetics, and the divine in a community that won't make you feel like a weirdo. A space where you can ask any question you want, where we get to dive into so many systems and beliefs and tools, and you get to pick and choose what feels good for you. So you can learn what it means to truly co-create with the universe, God, source, for flow, trust, and surrender, to connect with other women who are spiritually curious in a space that's safe, sacred, and inspirational. It's your space for you to find your people and lean into new spiritual practices to truly co create with the universe or God or source or whoever you feel connected to. You'll gain tools and knowledge to understand what it really means to lean into the universal laws and become magnetic, all while being held by massive feminine energy. I've been hosting these free new moon circles for almost a year now, and it's definitely one of my most sacred spaces, and it's completely free for you every single month. Diana said that she made a promise to herself that she would work on her personal development and growth journey earlier in 2024. So I reached out to her and asked her for a testimonial to share with us. And what she said was Adriana's membership community and Co-Create has accelerated that and more. I have had multiple breakthroughs from finding a new career path, improving my mental health by reducing my anxiety and depression through journaling, meditation, and breath work, improving my physical health, doing walking meditations are my jam, strengthening my marriage and relationships, improving my money mindset, and just setting up a routine that complements my design. I've learned to embrace challenges as a sign of growth. I will continuously do my best to be in harmony with myself, with this world, and the universe. I have never felt so seen, heard, safe, and supported. Her community and Co-Create has helped me connect to my true authentic self, to move with grace and intention, to embrace everyone's uniqueness. And we each have a special gift and are collectively part of this world to show and share it this way. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing all of your reflections and how Co-Create and my community has changed your life. And now I want to share it with everyone else. The link to register is in the show notes below. Even if you register for 1 month, you will automatically be signed up to be able to join every single month for as long as you're on the list. So you don't have to repeat it every month. You will always get on the list. You will always have the Zoom link available. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Now enjoy the episode. Welcome to the No BS Human Design Podcast. I'm Adriana Keefe, human design coach and motivational speaker. I went through my quarter-life crisis in my 20s and had to learn how to navigate through finding what I was meant to be doing with my life. I refused to believe in the culture that said we were all meant to have the same path and boring careers until we retire and die, and along my journey, I found human design, a system that reveals your energetic blueprint, showing you where and how to access your body's consciousness and how to live as your true self. Human design changed my life, so I started sharing it with others and changing their lives, but we were all finding the same problem: a lack of resources that explain the system in easy and useful ways. So I created this show where we dive deep into the lessons of the human design system without the BS and the noise you find on the internet. Listen in for lessons in human design, finding your purpose, manifestation and spiritual practices, human design within business, and so much more. We connect with other experts in the human design and spiritual realm in a refreshingly honest way to help you find your way along your spiritual path and live this life with intention. It's time to let go of the societal expectations of being and let yourself find abundance through being uniquely you. Let's get started. Record. Okay. There's going to be a few things that you'll want to really get the most out of this if you're not driving or whatever and you're able to actually workshop it. The first will be your body graph. You'll want to have that. You know what? I hate the word body graph. I'm just going to say your birth chart because that's what resonates with me. Your birth chart. You're going to want that. And then I'm going to drop a couple of links in the chat. One is the Gene Keys Living Library. Don't worry too much about what that means. And then, oh, come on. The other is going to be the Gates Guide. Really? Or not? All right, let me stop my share for a second. The Gates Guide that can be found in the back end, but here, stop. Apparently, me talking and trying to find these links is difficult. Here we go. I didn't know I couldn't copy the links for my presentation when it was presenting. So here we go. All right, Gates Guide. And these are just tools to reference for your one. We're just focusing on one today, your core wound gate. So don't feel like, oh my God, there's going to be like a million things. It's just tools for reference. All right, we got that. Oh, hi, Steph. I didn't even see you. Oh, because your thingy is off. That's why. I just saw there was like multiple people on that. And I was like, wait, what? Okay, close. All right, beautiful. So you'll want your birth chart, the Gene Keys link, if it resonates with you. You don't, it's not a must, but it resonates mostly with me. And then the Gates Guide I dropped in the chat as well. If you just popped on, if you can't see those links, let me know and I will put them back in. Now, let's open up the slides. Share, beautiful. And I'd love to hear in the chat, has anyone done any work around their core wound? Whether it was in a chart reading or on your own. Yes, you have. Beautiful. And then if you already know where it is, you can drop what gate it is in the chat. If you don't worry. I'm going to show you how to find it. 30. Oh, I feel like we talked about this. Did we talk about this recently? Okay, that makes sense. I was like, wait, I knew that for some reason. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I wanted to grab my Gene Keys book as well. I'll do that when we get there. Okay, so you'll probably want something to write with, something to take notes with, pen, paper, whatever that is, unless you're more of a techie person, probably like Steph. Lisa said 36. Winter said, I'm here to learn what it is, but you touched briefly on it during our call. I vaguely remember that too. And I feel like it made sense with your work. Hi, Annie. Hi. I feel like it's been forever since I've talked to you. Okay. All right.
Oh, sorry. Like, my manifestor ways. I'm like squirrel and come back, but
It is all good. I have to tell you guys, I'm going to create an episode on this, but my 10-year-old manifester is in her first true manifestor urge cycle. And I'm sure she may have had them before, but she may not have because she's just getting to the other side of like really feeling like her own identity and not her parents. But starting last week, she came home from Friday, like bat out of hell, wanting to bake something. So she baked cupcakes. And we're like, okay, she just rips apart the kitchen. She does this all on her own. She's 10. And then Saturday morning, we wake up and we hear her in the kitchen, her and my 5-year-old generator, up at 5:30 in the morning, and they're baking some type of apple oven pancake. And I'm like, whew, she's going for it, right? But it wasn't until Sunday, my birthday on Sunday. She woke up at 4:30 in the morning with the urge to start baking again. So she went and she baked me a birthday cake, even though there was already cake plant. Like we had so many cakes this weekend, you guys. And so she was 4:30 in the morning with my 5-year-old, and I was like, girls, you have to stay in bed just like a little bit longer because then my 3-year-old hears them and gets up and goes downstairs. Then Monday morning, she gets up before school. I think it was also 4:30. My husband was up. It wasn't me. It was either 4:30 or 5. Again, she's baking in the kitchen. We're like, okay, we need to find a little bit of boundaries. She used all the eggs, all the butter. We're like, what's for breakfast? But
that's
it's like
crazy.
her first true cycle, first true urge that I've ever really, really seen. Can you resonate with that, Annie?
I can, but like I don't recognize, like I try to think back into my younger years and I feel like I just can't. reach my childhood at all to
I get that.
figure it out. But it wasn't until obviously later in life that I can see that pattern. But that's so cool to be able to see that in her so young.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we didn't know what we know, we would have been like, dude, stop using all the supplies, stop waking up so early, like all this stuff. But we are letting her, and then we're setting boundaries that work for our family. So that's probably partially why. Whereas you, most parents would be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Can you just like go back to bed, sit down? So it's been
Yes.
really wild to see. Like my husband was like, what is happening? I'm like, I think she's having her first urge. It's wild. Like she doesn't need to sleep. It's like insomnia. She won't go to sleep. She gets up at 4:30. Like this is fucking wild.
That's crazy.
Oh, it is crazy. Okay. So I'm gonna drop the links in the chat again. And I don't know if they still show up if you just got on, but we have the link for the Gene Keys Living Library and the Drive document, the Gates Guide. It's also in the Magnetic Rebellion back end, but I'm putting it here for ease. And I think that one has to be updated as well. So, what we're doing today is a little bit of a blend because technically the core wound is it's Gene Keys language. However, they're so interchangeable and you know me, I'm like, it's not just one system, it is all the things together. So if you are unfamiliar with Gene Keys, don't worry about it. I'll explain a little bit as we go. You don't even need to know shit about Gene Keys for this to resonate with you, for you to get benefit out of this. So, let's dive in. And this is super like, we're going to be doing a lot of reflection and writing, so make sure you have stuff to write with. But also, feel free to pop off mute at any time. Feel free to pop in the chat anytime. I love being interactive. Steph, are you driving? Mom, can you check my? Do you want me to check your stuff? Lisa, let me know if you can't access it and I can grab hers. That's awesome. Okay. So what is the core wound? I have been noticing just how excited I was putting this workshop together and just how intuitive it was for me. I think my recent years of really obsessing over it, I'm definitely noticing that I have um I don't know, maybe a deep resonance or just an overall obsession with this part of the birth chart. And probably because that's like something that's come out in my work so much, so strong recently that I love teaching other people about it. So this is something I'm really, really excited to do today. This is where you can locate it on your birth chart. This is mine, the 2.5. Disregard the profile lines for right now. The profile lines are the point whatever numbers. So mine is 0.5. We're going to put that aside for today for ease and to streamline this. You're going to focus on the first number. So what this is it's a part of you that was imprinted as a wounding here to teach you how to awaken and heal it. This is a part of you literally embedded in your DNA, imprinted at the moment of your conception, symbolized by the Mars. This is the Mars planet symbol, the Mars placement on your body, your design side, 88 degrees-ish days before birth. I feel like there's a lot that's in that one sentence, so let's break it down. The design part of your body graph is actually calculated about 88 degrees or days before you're born. The actual personality side, this is like when you come out of the womb, this is how you're imprinted. So personality is more your conscious, design is more your unconscious or your body. And I tend to get lots of questions about how, if I was a C-section baby or if I was an induced baby, like all these, right? And this is where this is never going to be as straightforward as it was just imprinted at this time, and that's what it is. There's so many connections here, ancestral wounds that we have, the universal knowledge that no matter what your mother or parents decided to do, however they had you planned or not planned, the universe already knew, right? So all of this is some part of your soul path, your soul journey. They're so interconnected. Human design, gene keys, ancestral, all the things. So your soul came into this life, is what my belief is, to choose this exact life, this exact path for you to be born at this exact moment, to have this specific wounding. Is that making sense so far? I know it can feel like a lot. Okay. So the Mars placement in general, Mars in general, from the astrological standpoint, the shadow symbolizes the wounded masculine, dishonoring the feminine as well as the masculine. This is the shadow of the masculine. So it is a journey of finding our way back home, finding a healthy balance of the inner masculine and the inner feminine. I feel like that is not new terminology for us here. If that feels confusing, feel free to pop off mute or let me know in the chat and we can go back into that. But ultimately, it is of my belief and essentially the Gene Keys belief that we're born into the exact circumstances that we need in order to awaken it. So our soul chooses this exact time, this exact family to be born to really heal this part of ourselves, our lineage. It's very deeply personal, but it's also a collective wound. You are healing this not just for yourself, not just for the current collective, but for your ancestry, for everyone who has been before you. Now, one of the questions that I asked when I was first diving into this, and then I came back to my friend Crystal Kowalski. You may remember her from a lot of the variables work that we do. I asked her, well, what's the difference between the wounded healer in astrology, which is known as Chiron, versus the core wound? Because there's so much like wound shit interchangeably. And I'm just like, how are they the same thing, but not the same thing? And so basically, you have to understand first the essence of Mars. Mars being the divine masculine. Whether it is unhealthy or healthy, Mars is masculine, right? And the design part of our birth chart is a fixed energy. This unconscious body aspect of us is fixed. And this is how we experience the outside world through our body. So that, no understanding that was really helpful for me, just baseline, because it's putting together the astrology, the Mars. Okay, yep. So we understand the basis of Mars, and that this is something that's fixed within us, our soul individually when we're born. Whereas Chiron, known as the wounded healer, is more of a hidden trigger or wound that comes really to life around age 50. This is called your Chiron return. Just like we talk about Saturn returns, all of a sudden Saturn is back in the same spot around age 30 and our life gets upended. We have these quarter life crises, like how I launched into all of this. The same thing happens with Chiron around age 50. And this around that the Chiron in general is here to be transmuted during that time. Chiron is also it spends about 4 to 8 years in a sign. So it's generational. Whereas the Mars placement is much faster moving, was every few weeks, every couple of months, somewhere along those lines. So is that making sense so far? Okay, beautiful. So Chiron, definitely very generational. Um, Whereas the Mars placement is really specific to you and what you're here to heal, to move through for yourself. Yes, for the collective. Yes, also for your lineage. Okay, Winter said around 50. Could it be before 50, like now? Yes, girl. So you can do calculators for Chiron return. Check your Chiron return. And granted, I am not an astrologer, but I would presume that, like every other return, there's going to be the energy around those years too that you're going to feel. So it's not going to be like exactly on that day something happens. You're going to feel the energy of it around those years, just like in the other returns, and in Uranus opposition and all of that. All right, so now are we finding it on our chart? If you want to drop it in the chat if you haven't already. Steph, were you guys able to find, or Lisa, I should ask. Lisa, were you able to find Steph's, or do you want me to grab it? 36, 31. All right, so let's go a little bit deeper. Okay, I'll find it, Lisa. Let's go a little bit deeper into what the core wound is in a practical sense, because we could get very ethereal with all of this. But practically speaking, your core wound is the shadow that's holding you back from your true potential. This is where your gift is found for your creativity and what you bring to the world. So you'll find that the core wound is also spoken about as your vocation. Now, does that mean your vocation, like it's going to tell you, yes, you're supposed to be a hairdresser? No. But this is essentially what you're going to heal through that you end up taking back to the world and teaching. It may not be directly, like mine is, it feels so direct, but if you don't know what mine is, it's actually very indirect. And I'll give mine as an example after this. So, if you've ever come across the many of people that we see online these days who teach something, they're an expert in something because they went through something themselves and they became obsessed with showing people a better way, right? That tends to be the common theme with people who really love their job, who are, you can just like tell they are here to do the thing that they are doing. That is why, because you heal, which I don't think there's ever a true full healing. I don't know that we really come out on the other side just like this light being that's never touched anymore. I think it is a life journey, but then you continue to learn and bring people along that path through whatever it is you're doing. And you could be working in an office for someone else and still touching people with your gift, that vocation. It can be very indirectly. Wow, we've got a shit ton of 30s. 31, 36, 35. Oh, because yours 38. Okay, 45, 35. Okay, beautiful. Now, I added this quote from Richard Rudd, who is the original founder of Gene Keys. The Gene Keys actually, this is probably going to be, someone would hate me for saying this, but it's like a spin-off of human design. And what I mean by that, Richard Rudd studied human design under the original channeler Ra Aruhu. And at some point, he recognized he was having his own downloads about the gates. The gates are the gene keys, 1 through 64. The gates are the gene keys. And some shit went down. Honestly, Ra Aruhu seemed like kind of a dick. So he went out, Richard went out, and he really started creating or pulling this information through to create his own body of work that was channeled. And the gene keys for me have actually been such a game changer because while I can respect the descriptions of the gates, they're very different depending on who you ask. I have done my best to put little read multiple pieces of information on the gates and combine them all, find the themes, find what I've seen to be true in other people or myself, and put them in the descriptions that you have in the chat box. And sometimes it feels very intangible. It's like, okay, but how do I know when I'm in the gift of it or in the shadow? Whereas in the gene keys, it gives you the frequency, which is, it's almost like an adjective. It is a feeling. It resonates so much more deeply with me, but take whatever feels good for you. So you can use them interchangeably. I use them together. Is that making sense? Great. So you don't have to know everything about the gene keys. You can use the living library 1 through 64 to find that number and see what the frequencies are of that energy. So Richard Rudd, the founder of Gene Keys, he said, in the shamanic traditions, the apprentice shaman must take a series of initiatory journeys into the underworld of the unconscious. Here they will come into direct contact with the personification of their fears and their deepest wound. Having absorbed, embraced, and transformed their fears, the apprentice emerges and in time becomes the shaman, the wounded healer. That is one of my favorite. It's like, it's a quote, yes, but it's like an entire explanation of the core wound all in one. It talks about the unconscious. It talks about how this is the root of your deepest fears. The more you explore this, the more you're going to start to notice that that gate, that gene key, there is a common theme with all of your deepest, darkest fears and whatever that gene key is. It is absolutely wild. So for me, to give an example, my core wound is in gate 2. This is the most divine feminine. Gate 1 is known as the most divine masculine. Gate 2 is the most divine feminine, which sounds so wonderful, right? But guys, it's in my core wound. It is literally like the most painful thing I've had to learn and I've had to recognize in general. So the gate or the gene key is known as the direction of self. Oh no, that got cut off. That should have said the gate of receptivity or returning to the one. That, I mean, a million fucking names, right? That's another reason why the human design gates annoy me. But the shadow is dislocation. It is literally, what am I doing? Where am I? How I don't even know how to proceed. It is this feeling of being lost. And I resonate with that so, so much. But the gift is orientation. Mineral magnetism is how they talk about it in the Gene Keys. And if you think about the work that I do, yes, I teach human design. Yes, I teach emotional freedom technique. If you were to actually look at all of my work in general and put it all together, I am teaching you how to come back to your core essence, create that magnetic field around you to achieve what you want to achieve in life, to receive what you want to receive in life, the gate of receptivity, right? And to reorient yourself on your own path. Not leaning on everyone to tell you your path, but to reorient yourself on your own path. And then there's the city. The Citic state is like the most enlightened state. So this one is just fun to know, but honestly, I focus on the shadow and the gift more than anything. But the city for gate 2 is unity, also known as define logic. Divine logic. What did I just say? Define? Divine logic. So unity is the oneness that is all. All of the energetics work that I do, everything underneath human design, underneath the energetics of tapping and moving emotions and reassociating with your body, is to come back to the one energy that we all coexist with. Doesn't matter what religion you believe in. I mean, there have been studies done that show that every religion has the same belief ultimately. So it doesn't matter what that is. We are all connected through some whatever this is, oneness, right? So my core wound is actually having to learn how to reconnect with that oneness. And yes, it shows up as manifestation energetics. It shows up as human design. How do I come back to the self? But that's ultimately what I'm doing. How do I reconnect myself back to the oneness? And because it is my biggest goddamn pain point, you will see me constantly sharing the things that work for me or didn't work for me, the things that I believe in or that have no real foundation, all of that is the essence behind all of the work that I'm doing. My my Gene Key, you can download the audios on the Gene Key library for like $2. It's really great. Richard Rudd is a poet, so you either love it or you hate it. I am not a poet, but I will say listening to these Gene Keys, I listen back to them often, probably like every month, sometimes every other month. Listening to them helps. It's almost like a coaching session in its own, where I can be like, oh, how do I come back to this? How do I come back to this? And for the Gene Key of 2 specifically, I want to share a little snippet. You only have to melt into your own life to become one with it. The universe and all its mysteries are hanging in the air before you every day and in every way. Melt into the dream that's life. Let your heart flow out into the sea of creation. Just surrender yourself to life. Become soft, become like water. No agendas, just love. So for me, the the coming back to love, love for myself, love for other people, is honestly an everyday practice because I sink out of that so quickly. It's not that I sink out of love, it's that I get distracted with everything that's wrong, with everywhere that I'm not. And so having these little reminders around my gate 2, this has been one of the most beneficial things that I've done. I mean, even including human design, if human design never touched me, but I just knew about this too, and to come back to this love and this oneness, I would have been a changed human being no matter what. That's how strongly I believe in this core wound work. I think it is so fascinating. Okay, so we started dropping in the chat what the core wounds were. Now, if you haven't already, feel free to locate it on the Gene Keys website or in the guide, the Gates guide. And then if you want to drop them in the chat, maybe the Gene Keys, like the gift and the shadow, you are welcome to do that now. And then we're going to start doing some reflection, some journal prompts, and then sharing or asking questions or whatever comes up for you. So let me look up Steph's real quick. Oh, I knew that. Steph, you're the 14. Derp. That's my Earth. The 14 is the leaky wagon. Okay, let's see. Okay. I should know that by now too. It's a lot of information. So, Steph, the gift for you, the gift essence is the competence. Remember, we talked about competence, knowing that you not only know how to do something, but have the energy available in your sacral to do something. But the shadow being compromise. 31, the gift is leadership, shadow is arrogance. Yep. 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 Yes. Okay. And I'm curious, Allison, do you feel like you resonate with the gene key frequencies more than the gates?
100%.
Right?
I'm like the Gene Keys is my Bible for real.
Mm.
Like every single day I study it.
Do you? I love that. What do you study specifically?
So I don't really follow the whole sequence, like I know about it, but I literally just kind of feel into what I'm drawn to when it
Hmm.
comes to looking at my chart
Yeah.
and kind of just follow that intuitive nudge about like what number is calling to me today, whether it's conscious or unconscious, and then I just open up the gene keys and I start looking, reading, studying, and meditating on it.
Your intuition can tell you a lot. I will
Mhm.
tell you, like, half the times, like, I have client calls, they're like, oh, I've just been like thinking about this. And then we look at it and go deeper on it. And we're like, that's the exact problem you're going through right now. It is so
Yeah.
strong listening to that intuition. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to grab, where did my presentation go? Something to take notes with. Winter, what is the gift and what is the shadow on the Gene Keys website? So, did you click the number? What number were you? You clicked the number?
Hmm.
Okay, so the red, I think it shows up in red. Wait, let me double check.
Yeah, because I couldn't, I know we talked about it, but I couldn't remember. So,
Okay, let's see. What are you? 35.
hmm.
Pull it up here. Okay. Well, it'll say it up here. I know
Okay.
this one very, very well. The hunger is the shadow, but then if you down here, I feel like it's so much juicier. So hunger is in the red.
Hmm.
Gift, it's like red as a red light stop, right?
Got
Green
it.
means
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Adventure. This is why I make more money when I'm away. So like it's in my Jupiter placement, which is all resources and all of that. And the adventure piece, like when I was in Puerto Rico last week, I made thousands of dollars literally being in Puerto Rico. So this is why I have to have adventure for me so much. Okay. So here we go. How do we go to the next? Boom. Okay. So we're gonna dig into these. What I'm gonna say is we'll go, I'll give space and time for each one, but if you feel like you just want to really dig deeper into any specific one and I'm going too fast for you, stay with the one that you're really feeling drawn to. First, just noticing in what ways have I experienced the shadow of my core wound, either in myself or in others? I love noticing the in others because sometimes we are our own biggest blind spot, right? But if you can think about this with other people, it can help you reflect back on yourself. I love the 45 for you, Annie, that synergy, which has got to be weird as a manifester because you just want to do things alone, but it's really about collaboration and doing things together. And something else I want to point out here is remember if you're struggling to tap into it, if you don't feel like you understand it just yet, it could be like, and I'm looking at Steph's on my background. Steph's is in an undefined center and it's her only hanging gate. So it's only going to be turned on and turned off at certain times. So remember that you may not feel it all the time. It may take time and contemplation to notice it. So just give yourself grace with whatever you can or can't pull out today. Yeah, Lisa, I have that 38 in three placements, I want to say. It is wild. Is it one, two, three, four placements, Lisa? It kicks my ass sometimes. Yeah, it's a big theme for me, clearly, Lisa. Yep. And if you feel like you're ready for the second question, go right ahead. What triggers this wound most often, and how do I usually respond? If you're feeling ready for the next one, what emotions do I tend to avoid when this wound is activated? For me, with the two, when I'm feeling lost or disoriented, I tend to fall into fuck this, I'm not doing anything, procrastination, why bother, almost like victim mode. And if you're struggling to see how this comes out in your life, if you're okay with talking about it, you are welcome to come off mute and we can talk it through and see if we can find anything. The next question being, how can I begin to embody the gift within the wound in small, tangible ways? And Annie, I'm just getting a message come through for you as well, take it or leave it, to remember that the shadow of dominance can mean not just you dominating other people, but you feeling dominated by other people or allowing people to dominate you and your situation. Okay, so that landed. Okay.
I was just sitting here thinking that like I don't feel like I dominate others, but I'm such a people pleaser, which does
Mhm.
come across as being controlled, which is being dominated basically.
Yep,
So,
for sure. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the shadows can not just be how we are looking at the world or our experiences, it's also like how we let people treat us and where our boundaries are. Boundaries are very big. Of course, a lot of this tends to come in with boundaries. I love this. You guys seem like you've got a lot coming through. And then if I were to alchemize this wound into wisdom for others, what message would I share? And I'm super curious to hear if anyone's like, I don't resonate with mine at all, because that can very much happen. If you are feeling like you want to share or ask questions, even if it's not even about your core wound, feel free to in the chat or pop off mute, whatever feels good for you.
I'll share.
Go for it.
So I have an undefined throat,
Mm.
only one hanging gait. It's 31. I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck twice.
No way. That's
This
wild.
has always been an issue for me in my relationships. When it's been difficult, I have been told, now I've been working on this for a long time, told that I say dumb shit without thinking. Literally, like, why are you saying that? Like from my kids and like why did you say that? And I know that this is a hard thing for me because it's like I can feel, literally physically feel things need to come out of my throat. I need to be heard. I need to tell my story. I need to share. I need to say. I need to fill the silence. I need to like all the things. And I have come to realize during the study of this and learning is that it's almost like you have two ears and one mouth, right? Listen and take in all the things from around you. And then when somebody really needs to hear something important, you go to your basket of all the goodies and you find that little gem and then you give it to them. And that's the thing that I've been working on. So I'm, like I said, I have become like so good at listening. And at times I have to like sing. I have to like just create a podcast or
Mhm.
something just to get my voice that relief that it needs. Because in my personal relationships or in my, coaching that I'm doing with other people, it's not about me being heard. It's about me getting out of the shadow and stepping into the leadership and saying the thing that's going to be liquid gold instead of just like speaking just to fill the noise or fill the void, if that makes sense.
Oh,
So,
1000%.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm super curious. Do you see any theme there with like ancestrally in your family?
Um, yes, I think I don't know that this has to do with anybody's human design necessarily, but there have been like from my own mother, like sh I know she does this too. Like and she does this thing where she just says things and I'm like, "Mom, like why would you say that? Like that is so inappropriate or like what? Just don't say anything, you know?" So I know it's learned and I didn't know my grandmother, so maybe it was a similar kind of like genetic like I don't know, or familiar thing where people on that side maybe just word vomit or whatever, like without thinking. And so, yeah, it probably does have something to, at least I can recognize it in my mom.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to look back and spot the themes, which there's almost always themes with like the family or, I'm lucky because I've had people do research on my ancestral line. So like back to hundreds of years. And so I'm like, oh,
Mm.
this makes so much sense. It's so fascinating
Yeah.
to dig into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, I actually used to hate that I had this gait and now I really love it.
Mm. Why did you hate it at first?
Because it felt like so hard to deal with. It felt like, but I need to express myself and I need to have my voice heard and people should listen to me. And, it's like, but I would see too, like when you asked the question about like what would trigger you in other people, I couldn't stand when people would do that. I couldn't stand arrogant people. I can't stand people just talk just to fill the space. Say the thing that's important.
Yeah, the mirror effect is real. You're like, why do I hate this in other people? Oh shit,
Yeah,
I do that.
exactly.
It's exactly
Yeah.
what happens. Yes.
I'm proud to say I'm like healing that core wound. So.
And I'm not the best at remembering which is which, but I'm pretty sure that's a projected gate, I think, which means like waiting for the invitation to share that thing that you see,
It
but
is.
you've
Yep.
already learned that naturally.
Yes.
So that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else want to share or have any questions? Need trouble connecting the dots, anything like that? How are we feeling? Are we mostly feeling good? Or are we like, oh, fuck, now I got so much work to do? Awareness is the key. The avoidance of emotion question. Yes. Okay. So, what emotion do I tend to avoid when this wound is activated? Let me see if I can come up with a real life example. Oh, I guess I think I did. So, for me, when like my first reaction to things is like, wait, how am I trying to say this? No, I'm doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm gonna get in trouble. I wasn't supposed to go that way, as if like I knew exactly what I needed to do. I felt it in my body, but then I did it and something, in my perspective didn't work. And then I all of a sudden get disoriented and I'm like, oh shit, I'm going the wrong way. I'm doing the wrong thing. And what comes up for me are feelings of shame, feelings of victim mentality, like I'm wrong. And instead of sitting with those emotions, I used to just completely repress them, completely just fall into that victim of like, well, things are just everything is hard for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. And I used to like make it a joke. Like I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And just try and laugh it off. I would never actually sit with the emotion of why do I feel shame? Why do I feel like a victim who was lost right now and understand those stories and whatever was underneath that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and because I was trying to identify mine and I was having a little bit of trouble, but as you're talking, I think it's anger.
Mm,
Like
yeah, that
avoid.
actually came through hot and heavy. So I'm like, ooh, what am I feeling with that? Yeah, well, the repression of women's voices, that's probably why I feel like, oh, yeah, anger, the
Yep.
repression, the witch wound, all of that. That makes so much sense. I mean, for all we know, you were probably a witch along with the rest of us and were
Hmm.
killed for using your voice. So
Yep.
anger
Probably
makes
hangs
total
around
sense.
my throat.
Exactly. Total sense. Yes. Anyone else have anything? Trying to identify if the silence is good contemplative silence or if everyone's like, "Ugh." I will. Go ahead, Allison.
I was just gonna say, like, if you ever need anyone to fill the silence, like you can always count on me.
I am too with my defined throat. I do the same thing. So I'm like, so I did pull a card for us. And I got sanctity, a reminder that through offering, even the most mundane problem can become a sacrament. And I love the picture of him. It's like this little monkey guy. I don't really know what it means, but it just feels like a gentle reminder that even if this feels a little bit heavy, especially if you're like tr in that space of trying to figure out what you are wanting to bring to the world, especially if that one triggered you, like what gifts, what message do I want to bring to the world? That can be really triggering if you're in the space of like, I don't know who I am and what I'm doing. So this card is a gentle reminder to offer whatever feelings that didn't feel good, offer trying to identify the why or the how up to the divine, up to love, whatever resonates with you, and just take that weight off of you. How can you let it go? Contemplate, come back to it, let it go, and just continue to process over time. Because, like Allison was just sharing, like this, it sounds like you've been looking at this 31 for a while now. This has been like a very over time realizations. And even just now, you're like, oh shit, I get angry, right? These are new realizations we have all the time. I have new ones all the time. Any questions that I can answer for anyone? Hey, you guys were an easy crowd today.
I have a quick question. Do you know where on is it on your natal chart that you'll find your Chiron? Because I know I've seen it, but I can't find it on my Chiron anymore, or on my
Yeah.
chart.
Mine doesn't show it anymore, does it?
It doesn't?
So my software is supposed to show it, and for some reason it's not. My assistant's looking into why. But um who was it? Oh, wait, I think if you do it through my website, it was working that way, but not
Oh, really?
on. Let me check. Oh, that's great. Why are you not? Oh, here we go. Nope, 19. Yeah, it's working on my website software, not on my back end, and I don't know why. So the Chiron is this little guy that looks like a key, upside down
Okay.
key. So you're gonna have the conscious and the unconscious, and then the one underneath is the Black Moon Lilith.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'll go ahead and pull that.
You're welcome. Which the Lilith I'm not super versed in. So if someone's gonna ask, well, what's the Black Moon Lilith? And I'm gonna say, don't ask me yet. Ask me in like 6 months. I've read it like 6 times and it's not landing for me, so I'm gonna have to come back to that one. Um, But yeah, so if you were born around 1989, somewhere around that generation, you'd have the same similar Chiron as me.
I'm a little older than you.
I feel like I'm always the youngest in every room I'm in. If Steph were still on this call, she would be, but it's usually me. Okay, I think that was, yes, that was everything. Okay. How are y'all feeling? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle.
This has been great. Thank you.
Good, 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 good. Annie, you feeling okay over there? Okay. Okay, good. All right. If you have any other questions, of course, if you have things that come up after that you're just like in the shower and you're like, oh, this makes so much sense, feel free to drop it in the chat or even just revelations. I love to hear about all the pieces coming together. Um, some reminders. When I got on this call, did I tell you guys about the new room in the group chat? I don't think I did. I opened up a room in Geneva called Sacred Beliefs. I was in my Kundalini practice yesterday and I got this message of, oh, you saw it. Okay. Of opening up a room or a forum specifically for religion or philosophy, or because we have so many people in this community who are wildly different, like from Catholic to Buddhist, like there's so many different backgrounds and experiences in here. So, this is the forum. It's a little bit different than the feed. It's more of a post and comment kind of forum to put, if you feel called to put like your upbringing, what those religious or spiritual beliefs were, whether or not you resonate with them now, maybe what you're looking to explore. Because we do have someone in this community who's not only Buddhist, but she's also been raised with the I Ching, which is a part of the human design system. I know, Allison, right? I'm like, I need to open this room. So, feel free to pop in there to put your experience, to put maybe what you're looking to learn more about, or just that you're open. You'd love to learn more. And then if you randomly have questions where you're like, oh, what spiritual, I don't love the word religion, what spiritual belief or maybe even, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, why is texture coming to mind? Fuck the word, oh, not like the Bible, but like scripture. There we go. Scripture or anything like that. Can I lean on like this is a great form to post that in and see how many other members of the community might have something for you to be able to lean on. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Other than that, I can stop sharing my screen. I have the Bad Bitch Magic Mastermind that closes doors on Friday. So if you know anyone who could very much use a human design and energetics mastermind for business, I am also offering a kickback, 50% of their first month for whoever joins. So if you feel like you know anyone, please send them my way and make sure that they say your name so that I know that you sent them. It's by application only, so I can send you guys the application if you feel like you know anyone. All right. Anything else that I can do for you guys today? We feel complete. Beautiful. Okay, guys. Thanks for popping on. I always love seeing your faces. Next Tuesday night, we have Co-Create. And then in June, I am going to play around with the suggestion of making Co-Create in the afternoon or sometime during the day. So if you see it pop up at a totally different time, that is why. And we're still working on workshops for the rest of June, so stay tuned for that. Should be out this week. All right, guys. I will talk to you in the group chat. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime. Have a good
Thank you.
day. Bye.
Bye.